Are you thinking about moving into Lexington and trying to figure out what it might cost you to live here? What is the cost of living in the beautiful city of Lexington, the horse capital of the world? Well, we're going to be breaking that down today. We're going to be looking at costs of housing to entertainment, transportation, food costs. So if this is something that interests you, be sure to stick with us. We're going to be looking at it right now. If this is your first time to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe and tap the bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about all the market changes here in the Lexington area. So the first thing we're going to be looking at today is the current median house prices here in Lexington. And you're going to find that it is significantly below the national average of home prices. It looks like in the Lexington area, there's about 3,640 current listings on the market in Lexington, with the average days on the market are around 44 days. So things sell within a month or a month and a half. So we're not in that market here in this area where you have to make a decision just on the day that it comes on the market. So it does give us a little bit of time and some flexibility. It looks like the median average house price here in Lexington is around $310,000, and that's staying pretty steady over the last several months. Now, when you go back and you look to see what have houses been selling for here, that might be the listing price might be at the $310,000 range, but the average median price that's sold here in Lexington is actually down to $276,000. So if you're coming from a different market, you may be able to really get more house for your money here. So Lexington does have lots of houses on the market right now. I checked this morning. Looks like there's 3,600 properties that are currently on the market in all price ranges. So depending on what range you're looking at to exactly how many houses would be on the market. So the housing prices here definitely are below the national average. That's definitely in our favor when we're looking at the cost of living. Now, we can't leave the housing cost of living without touching on the price of rent. So rent prices have gone up here, just they have all over the nation. And typically for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment or condo here in Lexington, you're looking at anywhere from $1,000 a month up to $1,600 a month, depending on what area of Lexington you're looking at. Now, if you're looking to rent a house, you're definitely going to be looking at quite a bit more money than that. So expect to pay upwards of $2,500 a month, depending on what area of Lexington you're looking to rent in. So these are the housing prices here in the Lexington area. If you are looking in other areas of the state, it might be a little bit lower, as Lexington does have a higher rent cost than maybe some smaller towns in the Lexington area. But now we're going to head on to our next thing we're going to look at, which is the food prices here. So the second thing when we're considering a cost of living that we're going to talk about today is grocery prices, the dreaded grocery prices. Now, Kentucky is pretty average when it comes to prices on most things. I was checking, maybe you go into the grocery store and it used to be that you could, get most of your staples for the week for $125, unless you're buying meats and vegetables, things to cook dinner with. And you're going to be up there at about, depending on if you're doing for a family of 2 or a family of 4, anywhere from $250 to $400. So that's something that you have to think about here. I was just checking some of the things, like a gallon of milk is around $3.50. A loaf of bread is, if you get expensive bread, $3, $4 for a loaf of bread. So different, depending on what your staples are, to how much it's going to cost. A dozen eggs are around $2.50. Looks like seems like I checked, and a pound of chicken breast about $5.15 a pound, depending on if you want it skinless, boneless, all those things, of course, add up. So the price of groceries here are pretty typical to the national average. Now, if you want to talk about eating out, there's all different kinds of places here in Lexington for you to eat. So whether you're thinking about, just a fast food place like Chick-fil-A, you can get a lunch or dinner there for $8 to $10, depending on what you're getting. That's kind of the average. If you wanted to go up to something higher, maybe a sit-down meal similar to maybe a steak place like Longhorn, it's going to cost you between, $20 to $25 per meal. But if you wanted something really nice, like maybe you wanted to go to a sit-down place like Malone's, which is a higher end steakhouse here, you're looking at anywhere from $40 to $80, depending on exactly what you're going to eat. So eating out, restaurant prices here in Lexington, they are expensive just like they are really all over the country, and you want to leave your tip. So when you add that up for a family of four, even if you eat at Chick-fil-A, you're looking at $40, when you go out for a meal. So pretty typical and standard for the state of Kentucky as compared to other places. Hi, my name is Lisa Prather with Century 21 Simpson and Associates. We get calls and emails all the time from people like you looking to make the move into Lexington, Frankfort, Georgetown, all over central Kentucky. So whether you're looking to move next month or 9 months from now, give us a call, send us a text or an email. We'd be happy to help you make the move into Lexington. So now let's talk about utilities. Another big expense that contributes to our cost of living is the price of utilities. So when we think about utilities in Lexington, Kentucky Utilities is the major electric company there. So if you're in an all-electric house, you can probably expect your utilities to run anywhere from $100 a month to upwards of $200 to $250, depending on if we have a hot summer. Your heat and air will be on your electric bill. If you have a gas furnace, then you will have a Columbia gas bill, and you can put that on a budget so that you get that bill every month. It stays the same all throughout the year. That does help when you can budget what your bills are. The next part of utilities really that we think about are, internet. Everybody needs a really good internet, and so you can expect that to cost, depending on how fast the speed you want to get, whether you can get fiber or not, anywhere from $125, maybe up closer to $200 if you want that really fastest speed. I don't know anyone who has that, and it seems to be fine at that middle level. I don't know about the gigabytes and all those different things, so you know what I'm talking about. Water and sewer, typically those run together around $100. It depends on if you have a family of just yourself, or a family of 2 or 4, or maybe you have multiple generations, you have parents living with you, then you can figure that is going to be a little bit more. But water and sewer in this area are typically not really a big expense. So utilities, when we think about them, they add quite a bit to our lifestyle in our cost of living. But in the grand scheme of things, once you get past your mortgage payment and your taxes and insurance, utilities are really not that bad. So the next part in our cost of living that we're going to look at is transportation. So hang on, we're going to get to that one next. Transportation costs here in Kentucky, gasoline currently is anywhere from about $2.70 a gallon up to about $3.05, depending on the week and really what's going on in the world. That's kind of been the current prices now for several months. So you can expect that, probably around $45 or so would fill up your tank unless you had a really large vehicle. And looking at insurance costs, that is going to really depend on what type of vehicle you have and also what your driving record is. If you've had speeding tickets or those kinds of things, typically my insurance costs can go from $125 a month for my vehicle insurance for full coverage. If driving is not your thing and maybe you're coming from an area where you used public transportation, Lexington has a really, really good public transportation system, and it's called LexTran. Really good system. When I checked, it looks like it's about $30 a month for a monthly pass, or you can pay by the trip if you only go out a little bit, maybe you work from home. But typically in Lexington, even though there is good public transportation, you're going to want to have a vehicle to kind of get you around, take you where you need to go. It's a little bit sunny out here where I'm doing my video, so I'm trying to find a spot where the sun's not shining on my face completely. So usually, like I said, you can get that public transportation through LexTran for about $30 or so a month, and it does go all over Lexington. That will kind of help you out with that if you you do not have a car for travel. So we're going to talk about the best thing, and that is entertainment. Everybody likes entertainment, so stick around. Entertainment. Who doesn't want to talk about entertainment? Lexington has some really awesome things to do, whether you are a sports enthusiast and you love to go to UK football and basketball games, or you enjoy hiking trails. There's lots of different nature trails in the Lexington area. There are, the bourbon industry, my goodness, you could go on tours. There's lots of things to do through the bourbon industry. There are museums there, the Kentucky Theater. So you could really pick one thing to do every weekend and it would fill up your entire year. So I looked into a few things, and we're going to dig deeper into things to do in Lexington in an upcoming video. But just to give you a few things, the Kentucky Horse Park. You can go there, about $22 to get in. There's so many things to do there. We're coming up on the season where they're going to have the light show there. You've got to go try that out. If you haven't done that in Lexington, check that out for the upcoming holiday season. They've got hot chocolates and just so many things. I couldn't even really go into it. There's a little museum type place in there where you can go in and learn all about the thoroughbred horses, the industry that makes up so much of the culture of Lexington. Then you've got the nature trails. You've got Raven Run where you could go down. There's so many hiking areas and trails there at Raven Run. It takes you down by the river. Beautiful. This time of year, as the leaves are changing, it would be a stunning time to go down, and that would be a free thing to do down there. Of course, Keeneland is wrapping up. There's just a few more days of the fall meet at Keeneland, and you can get a general admission ticket there for about $16 to get you in the door. You don't really have to have a seat there. You could stand and watch all the races. If you've never experienced a horse race in Lexington, that needs to be on your bucket list of things to do. There's several wineries in the area that you could visit, lots of different things to do as we're coming into this fall and holiday season. So many different things to check out. If you have children, there's the Children's Museum, the Science Center, lots of different events for kids. And so I may do an upcoming video on just things to do for kids. So stay tuned for that in the upcoming week. So we've talked about the housing costs in Lexington. We've looked at groceries, just the price of food and groceries in our cost of living. We've talked about utilities, transportation, and entertainment. So if you have any questions about any of those things, or maybe you want to look at some houses in that price range that I told you, the median price range around $310,000, give me a call, send me a text or an email. I'd be happy to help you make the move into Lexington. So be sure to like our channel, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and tap the bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about all the market changes in Lexington, Georgetown, Frankfort, and all over Central Kentucky. And until next time, I hope to see you around town.